always admired what fire was. Fire was the only destructive element in nature. It destroyed, it consumed, and it was never the same. I walked to the door, slowly at first, gauging what was going on. But then I picked up the pace, knowing that this for sure was my destination. That the man that I was looking for was inside. The man with the scarf on his head. The man who had a crush on me. I knocked heavily before bursting through the door. He stood there, in a stupor, mouth agape. More agape. Looking like I was his long-lost lover. Almost looked like he wanted to suck me off a little bit. He removed his hat, exposing his curly, horrible hair, shaking them, trying to seduce me. I moved past him quickly and went to my target. Well, if it isn't Jimmy Johns, I said, my voice mocking. It's been way too long since I've seen you around here. Jimmy continued to play on his phone, probably doing Angry Birds or something, totally ignoring me, which pissed me the fuck off. So I did something really crazy. He didn't react to the slap the way I had hoped, so I struck him on the other cheek. That got his attention. Hey, what the fuck are you doing? Jimmy said, with his eyes. He pushed me, sort of violently, one-handed, with both hands. I pushed him right back. We got into a pushing match, and I put him in a headlock. He screamed, "Uncle! Uncle! Uncle!" I let him go, laughing. I'm just kidding, man. How you been? You been good? I know I've been good. Jimmy laughed. I've been good too, man. It was kind of scary since I haven't seen you in 6 years or something. But you look kind of fat. My eyes narrowed, kind of hurt. Nobody had ever called me fat before. Not since junior high had people called me fat. It kind of struck a nerve. So I punched Jimmy right in the dick. Why did you have to call me fat? You went there. You bastard. I'll never forgive you. Ever, ever, ever. I sank to my knees, pleading to the gods above to make the pain go away. It was then that the skinny little Mexican kid who greeted me at the door came around and put his arms around me. Don't worry, he said. Everything is going to be all right. Everybody was fat as a little niño. And even though you cock-punched my boss, I think that you are a cool guy. And I would like to give you my hat. He handed me his hat, and suddenly my tears evaporated. I no longer felt sad. I finally felt as though I had found some meaning in my life once again. This hat brought me such joy. I immediately put it over Jimmy's junk to make him feel better. Jimmy looked at me, sat forward, and leaned in with a twinkle in his eye and a smile on his lips. I think I know what you're here for, he said. Oh yeah, man. You know exactly what I'm here for. Do you have it? Jimmy smiled again and said, oh yeah. He stood up and went down to the basement. I followed cautiously, not knowing if Jimmy was to be trusted. Jimmy rounded a corner and disappeared. I walked around the corner, my fear suddenly evaporating when Jimmy suddenly produced the object of my desire. But Jimmy wasn't in this room, he was behind me! Suddenly, Jimmy invited me to sit down on the couch so that we could take a look at the 2x4 with the hooks on it. Now, this here 2x4 is, pretty good. It used to be a banister of some kind, I don't fucking know. Well, how old is it? Is it good for a weapon? Can I hit a guy over the head with it really hard, thus bludgeoning him and beating his brains out? Of course you can! You know, it'll be an easy thing. Okay, well, how about I practice on your little friend over there? What? You mean Paco? Yeah, Paco. All right. Go ahead. Hit him in the face as hard as you can. Paco ran away. I pursued him with great fervor, knowing that I would eventually murder him in the face. He ran up the stairs. I chased after him. I had put one of Paco's eyes out. But before you die, I said, there's one thing I need to let you know. Oh yeah? What's that? What could you possibly tell me that I don't already know? I was gonna tell you, little Paco, I am your brother. No, Paco said. No! No! Paco looked like he was about to shit himself, and then he did. I thought he was done, but then suddenly the stench was overpowering. I couldn't handle it. I started throwing up a little bit. Then I threw up all over Paco. Paco shat himself some more. The smell made it worse, and I threw up even more. Special effects! Suddenly, after my stomach had no more vomit inside, I turned, and there stood Jimmy, seeing the whole thing. Jimmy looked at me, looked at Paco, took his hat off and said, "Get the fuck out of my house." I kind of got sad then because Jimmy and I had been friends for a long, long time. And it really pained me when I had to murder him. No! I stabbed him. Great gouts of blood sprayed from his liver. I stabbed him again with the thing. And again. And again. Thrusting it into his body as though I was having sex with a really hot girl. I think I orgasmed then. I blacked out for a second, but when I came to, I was standing over Jimmy's dead body. Dear God, what had I done? I had to hide the body, so I dragged him. I put the banister away on the couch. I then pulled him by his arm and leg, and pulled him out of the front of the house, knowing that I would have to get rid of the body out of the front of the house. I thought,
That would be the quickest way. I then ordered the little Mexican brother boy to open the door for me.
This is the first time I had ever killed somebody, and he was my best friend in the whole wide world. I didn't know what I was gonna do after that, but I knew that this whole business between me and Jimmy wasn't over. Not by a long shot.